They call me the Doctor.
I'm the Doctor. I am the Doctor. I'm the Doctor. I'm the Doctor. I am the Doctor. I'm the Doctor.
I'm the Doctor.
Greetings, humans, Daleks, Time Lords, and the Veil. You're listening to Exterminating Doctor Who.
This is the show where we take Doctor Who's most popular episodes and debate if they're really as good as their reputations.
With your hosts, Aidan Gula.
And me, George Ellis.
And in today's episode, we are talking about Heaven Sent.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Not Hellbent.
No.
Heaven Sent.
We've done that one.
I like how we're going backwards here.
Yeah. As I was watching it today, I thought we did these in the wrong order, didn't we? Because now I'm going, what did we say about Hellbent?
Well,
I don't remember.
But I can remember we didn't like Hellbent
Yeah,
as
I remember-
much.
I remember-
I remember us liking the first half of Hellbent.
Yeah, we do. I remember that. I remember we liked the first half, and then as soon as there's a point where something happens, potentially when he draws the gun, and then everything after that,
Shit.
crap. So yeah, in hindsight, I probably should have listened to that before watching the episode. But you know, I'm a busy man. I ain't got time for that. Yes. So we
Oh.
shall.
Just those
Yes.
are on if that'll affect the recording.
No, they're not.
Lovely. Just worried. Because I was playing some music through
In
them.
case I suddenly just press Coconut Mall Mario Kart by accident. Yeah. Before we come on to that, some news and rumours.
Rumours.
It was quite frustrating actually, because there's one of the rumours that I had loads of opinions on. I thought this would be a great discussion. It was
Did it get debunked?
debunked this morning. I thought, how frustrating.
What rumour was it? Just give
That
it to me
was
quickly.
that the 14th Doctor is Hugh Grant.
Interesting.
It was
rumour.
going around. Everybody was reporting on it. It was this thing that was like one of those where you're like, right, a bit too many people are reporting on this now. This might be true. And I was thinking, this would be great. Because I'm thinking, although I'm not overly fussed on Hugh Grant, I much prefer Hugh Laurie, who I always get the two muddled up. I would much prefer him.
You prefer
I
House.
thought, yeah, I thought if it was like just for one, like the 60th, because I thought I can't see him signing up to do a whole series. But if he just did the one episode, just like the 60th or something,
Knocked it out of the park.
that would bring in so much attention to Doctor Who, because he's like A-list actor. So many people would be like, wait, he's Doctor Who, or let's go watch that. It would bring this thing, and I thought I wouldn't like it for a long time. But as a one thing, I thought that could be amazing for Doctor Who. And then Hugh Grant comes out this morning and he goes, nothing against Doctor Who, but I'm not in talks. This isn't real. And I thought,
Do we believe him?
I don't know.
You
He
say
he
debunked, but honestly, we've had like fucking Andrew Garfield debunked the fact he was in Spider-Man. He was in Spider-Man.
True, but it was more of just like, it's just the way he kind of, because he tweeted it. Like, it wasn't like somebody interviewed him. It wasn't like he commented. It was just that he went out his way to tweet this saying, nothing against Doctor Who, but I'm not.
When he could have just left it.
Yeah, he thought, ooh, let's let this build up. But he kind of just thought, no, I'm not.
Okay.
The way he kind of just tweeted it, I thought.
Just casually, like
Yeah.
not in it.
Yeah.
Relax.
Because the other people like Andrew Garfield, Patrick Stewart, Catherine Tate, these kind of people that we've talked about, they've been interviewed and asked about it, and they've gone, "We'll wait and see," but I'm not in it, kind of thing. Where he's literally gone, "Guys, what are you talking about?" Same way Ollie Alexander did that as well when it was all being rumored. Oh, is he the next Doctor? His people were like, "No,
I
stop
get you.
saying this."
Well, you never know, honestly. It could still be Ollie Alexander. You never know. But
Could still be Hugh Grant.
that's the thing. It could be either of them, and it could be anyone. But yeah, it's a bit disappointing that it's been debunked, because it would have been interesting to have just like an A-lister. I just like that idea, actually, if they just have an A-lister for...
Just for the one episode. I've seen that idea said by a few people.
Robert Downey Jr.,
And
imagine.
I just think it would be a good idea just to bring so much attention to it, to kind of like reboot Doctor Who in people's minds. The amount of people, we've said this before, the amount of people who don't even know Doctor Who is still on TV, to then go, oh wait, Hugh Grant's the Doctor? Oh, I'll have a look at that. I think that would, because I kind of think as well, people go, oh, but it's another male Doctor. And I think, yeah, but for a vast majority of people, that's what the Doctor is.
And it'd be
Like
a stepping stone.
For the casual audience, that's what the Doctor is. And if you did that, and then the next one was Tania Miller or something like that, you can get away with that. You've brought people's minds back to Doctor Who. Thought, oh, this was quite good. I'll give her a chance, that kind of thing. Whereas the state of the public perception of the state of Doctor Who before Jodie Whittaker was already poor. So if you raise it and then do that something, you go, oh, that was good, I'll give that a chance. Whereas if it's already down there, you just expect the other one to sink even lower, kind of thing. Speaking of sinking lower, it's apparently been revealed how Jodie Whittaker's going to regenerate.
Do I want to know?
Well, apparently she's going to drown.
That's awfully morbid.
That's what I'm thinking. I think this is dark. Apparently she's going to drown and emerge from the water as the new Doctor.
That's kind of cool, though. But that's biblical imagery. I'll be honest with you. That is quite fucking cool, though, when you actually think about it. That's fucking horrific. And it's like...
It is horrific. Like, the thought of seeing the Doctor go underwater. Do you know what I mean?
I
And
like
just
to think
die.
it'd be like one of the Bond intros where it's like falling, sinking into the water.
A really slow version of
Yeah,
Doctor
yeah.
Who theme.
Yeah. And then, but that is like a really actually it's a beautiful image in a sense. The Doctor drowns but reemerges from the water, reborn in a sense. That's just, I think that could be visually.
I think you could do a good shot
stunning.
of like, just a shot from like the beach or something where you see water and it's glowing orange and that kind of thing. And
Don't give us like a big beam in the sky. Make it.
No,
you want to
would
be.
look naff.
You need a bit of subtlety with this one, I think, because we've had kind of big explosives regenerations. I think we've had more like all of the regenerations, like in the new era, are like big explosions.
Even the nature of the regeneration itself now being the
Exactly.
thing is like
So if you kind of
dramatic.
because it would be dramatic. The idea is emerging from the water, someone new, but you can, by putting it in the water, you can really add a level of subtlety to it, because you wouldn't be able to hear much, because obviously sound travels differently in water. You wouldn't really be able to hear anything if you're outside of the water. But then they emerge as someone new. I think that'd be really, really just very interesting. And they'd be all wet and as if they were just birthed.
Yeah, and but I think it is dark. I think it's very dark. I'm thinking, would the BBC actually be able to get away with that?
I think so, because
For, like-
they didn't die, you
For,
know.
like, tea time TV, I kind of think.
I think they could. Because I don't think you have to show us them like convulsing in the water as they're
that's true.
actually dying.
The face going blue and all
Exactly.
this kind of thing. But the thing I'm thinking, well, how's that going to work then? Is because the next episode is, of course, Legend of the Sea Devils. So that's about pirates. That's about water. We'd think maybe she regenerates in that one. But then we know there's centenaries after that. And we've seen shots of the centenary where Jodie Whittaker's out and about on land saying goodbye to Yaz from the TARDIS and all that kind of thing. And I'm thinking, well, how does she come across water again after that then?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
And
It's
that's
kind of
what I'm
like you're coming
thinking-
back around. It's like you're
Yeah.
at the point where you could die, but you're going away and then you're coming back. It's a bit...
It's like I'm thinking, if this was Jodie Whittaker's last episode, the next one, I'm with you. Maybe she does drown. Maybe she falls off that ship. Maybe a sea devil drags her down. Who knows? But the fact that when we've got another land story, for want of a better word, how's she getting back to a body of water? Does she say bye to Dan and he
Paddles out.
pushes her into the Liverpool docks or something like?
Yeah. Okay, if you're going to make her drown, do it in like either like a like mythological, like where...
Do it on a ocean planet.
Yeah, you got a couple of options here. Do it in like one of those mythical lakes where you have like the
Atlantis.
like one of those things. You have it like in Atlantis or like a big ocean planet. Don't give us like the Thames or just a fountain. Give us an actual either a big body of water or something kind of foresty, mythical kind of shit. Don't give us a drowning death in a fucking pond, because that's not good, because that's very much reminiscent of falling off a pylon. It's not very...
That's how the fourth Doctor regenerated.
That was the point, yeah. It's not very spectacular.
No. Yeah, so that was that. But at least we had some rumours, at
Yeah.
least this week, whereas last week it was just kind of dragging up an old rumour that I thought was debunked anyway. So yeah, that's that for this week. The thing we are here for is, of course, Heaven Sent, as promised last week. I was worried, actually. I thought we've got to do this one because it is, of course, like, it is incredible. It is Doctor Who firing on all cylinders. Every single thing involved in this episode is just 10 out of 10 amazing. But I was like thinking, what am I going to write? Capaldi is good. Well, that's the episode. What am I going to write? And yeah, I've managed 3 pages of notes.
It's the idea that you think of this episode and you think, God, it's so good. Why is it good? Well, it's just Capaldi's great in it. It's very focused. It doesn't really mess about with other things. You think that initially, but when you watch it and you actually write down what you like about it as it's happening,
It's building up and building
you
up.
realize there is so much more to this episode and how it works than simply the Doctor's trapped in a castle.
Yeah.
there's a lot of layer to this, and I think it's why it works so well. And I mean, hell, it feels. This whole episode feels like poetry in a sense. That's the feeling I get from it. Like, it is my first note I made here. I was like, it's like poetry, because it starts off with the Doctor narrating, and then he gets out the thing, and then he does his little speech, and then it flows from there on out. There is narration that crops up here and there, but it never feels forced. Because when we have his narration, we have it in two senses. We have it one sense, we have him in his mind palace, which is the TARDIS, which is so cute. Oh my God. Where he's in there just talking to his brain version of Clara and himself, and he's figuring shit out, and he's talking to the TARDIS. That's a form of narration. And then you have it when he's actually narrating. And then you have it when he's problem solving. All of this whole episode is basically purely narration and purely his own thoughts coming out in whatever sense. Because there's only like one point in this episode where he's actually really talking to someone else, like an actual manifestation of someone else, and that is the kid at the end. Beforehand, he's talking to the ether.
He has a brief bit where he speaks to Clara.
Yes.
Because I think all the way through, when it's the back of Clara's head, you can tell that it's not Jenna Coleman.
Mm-hmm.
And there is the bit when Jenna Coleman does make probably a green screen appearance or a brief 5 minutes from filming something else. But though you're right, it's literally that bit talking to Clara for 30 seconds, and that bit talking to the child for 30 seconds, but the kid doesn't say anything back anyway. That's the only time he has an object to talk to.
And the veil doesn't count because the veil is purely there to force him to talk.
Yeah, that's like a bit of the furniture, isn't it? That
exactly.
Count.
Which is a brilliant design, by the way. Very good monster.
Yeah, what I like is Moffat's intention for this episode was that he asked the question, how do I make grief the monster of the week? So you think, I don't want a monster. The veil is, yes, a good monster. It's scary, it's threatening, but it isn't the monster of the week. It isn't the Doctor versus the veil. It's the Doctor versus grief. And I really like that as a concept, because you get some great stuff all the way through, where it's actually like, it's the Doctor dealing with stuff, but it's the Doctor dealing with states of grief and depression. And it's kind of like, I can't think of many other episodes, or potentially even any other episodes, that delve into the Doctor is this much as a character study. There are episodes that you learn. There are episodes where you learn loads about the Doctor, sure,
and there are episodes that do kind of the metaphors. Like
the metaphors apply to the Doctor, yeah. But this is the only one where it's blatant. I can think of that's blatantly saying, "The Doctor, who is he?
What is he in a nutshell?"
Child, but that's like going, "Who is he?" Doesn't.
But it's a character
you know
study.
What I mean?
I get exactly
the only one that I can think of delves so deep.
It is, but that's because the focus of it is him. He's in a confession dial. The point is to get him to talk, and the whole focus is exploring him and kind of exploring his reaction to Clara's death. But you also see how he processes that, and you see the idea that he doesn't get over it quickly. He's there for 1 billion years at least. How many years is he there exactly?
I believe that he says the last number he says in this episode is 2 billion years.
2 billion, yeah.
But I believe in Hellbent, pretty sure, the sister Khan, whatever her name is. I can't actually think what her name is. I'm sure somebody will. I say somebody will be Will. I'm sure Will will say in the comments of YouTube what her name is. But I'm pretty sure she says it's 4 billion years.
So there you go. It's like, but that in itself is the metaphor for the idea of grief as well. It's like it never actually leaves you.
Yeah.
You just learn to move on.
Well, it's like, I'm sure probably even your favourite quote, but my favourite quote in the episode is, "The day you lose someone isn't the worst. At least you have something to do. It's the days after where they stay gone."
Where they stay dead. He specifically, but it's very interesting that he doesn't say gone.
I ended the quote at "It's the days after" because it was moving on. I needed to write something else, so I was like, "Days after." I know the rest of the quote. Clearly, I didn't.
No, but it's a beautiful quote, and but it's very interesting. Just like how he doesn't say gone, he says dead, which is very specific. It's not a they've gone, they've passed on. It's a very specific dead. It's a finite endpoint, and it's very interesting how he says that, and it's very much he knows they're dead, but you never really get past it. You move on, but it's always there with you,
because it's something that
It's heartbreaking.
In
as well.
Doctor Who, he's lost loads of companions before. Loads of them have died. But you very rarely, even like people that aren't companions, people that are just guest characters, people that just mean something to him, people have died loads. But you very, very, very rarely ever see the actual aftermath of that. It's kind of like they're dead. Next episode, wait, new companion. It's very much like, oh, you got over that quickly.
You seem sad. Episode ends. New companion. You don't see the bit in between.
Yeah. Whereas this is actually giving you a buff. Yes, we've said in Hellbent that it ruins Clara's exit, and she should have just gone in and faced the Raven.
I have a lot to say about that.
We did in.
Well, I have a lot to say about it now, especially.
We did in Hellbent. We said that then, like this should have been her exit, but this kind of gives you a buffer. Whereas, like, say in the hypothetical world where the next episode is Clara's not in it, it's about him moving on. This kind of just buffers you just a bit, just to go, he's lost her, he's dealing with it, now he moves on. Whereas most, they just go, gone, move on, instantly to the next one.
And it's very interesting to see because Clara's been there for a while, obviously, so it would make sense to give her a bit of a buffer. But what kind of allows me to allow this in a sense is this isn't just the Doctor the day we're not just seeing a specific instance where it's just the Doctor the day after dealing with the grief. We don't just see that.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, he only cared about Clara. What it's doing is it's showing him in a situation that he's been put in by a third party. And we have to see him get out of this, but it is directly related to what's just happened. So therefore we get this buffer, but it's not just here for the sake of all Clara's special.
Yeah.
It's there for the sake of showing us the Doctor's grief. And it makes sense that we now understand this isn't just how the Doctor processes grief with Charlie. Who's
Charlie?
I don't know. This isn't just how the Doctor processes grief with Clara. This is how the Doctor processes grief with anyone, really. But we're just seeing this one because of the situation we're in.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting.
He's stuck in this situation, whereas usually he'd probably occupy his mind with something else.
Exactly.
Like if you think like losing Rose, the second it's done, Donna appears in the TARDIS. He doesn't have time to get over it. Well, I suppose he has 2 series wallowing after that, doesn't he? But that's not the point.
But no, it's exactly that. He in this instance, he's forced to be given this time, and we get to see it because it's in a situation like we're not going to see him just in his bedroom crying, are we? That's not going to make a great episode. But in this, it is just an episode where it happens to be straight after Clara's death, and it all flows together in that sense. It's very good. And just to say, the moment in here where Clara says that thing to the Doctor, that one moment where she speaks to him, and then we don't see her for the rest of the episode. That is such a beautiful send-off because we have her death, and then we have him here processing the grief. And it's not like you can't tell me, oh, he got over it quickly. He didn't. 4 billion years. He didn't quite get over it quickly, you know? And then you have this moment with him and Clara. That is a perfect ending to Clara's saga. Like, that's just done. And then you move on. Having her come back in Hellbent, as like we said in the episode, it was fucking shit choice, bad choice, bad idea. But after seeing this, it's not even like, because we probably in that episode said, oh, they could have just had her not appear or just have her come back and then go away suddenly. Like when she's time frozen or whatever, just have that be her. Hi, let's go. You don't even need that because in this episode, you get that farewell. You get that bit done. You don't even need like that second half of Hellbent at all. It's very frustrating because it's not like we don't even need to fix anything. We just need to remove something. And that's actually more cost effective. So it's just really quite annoying that they had this perfect send off to Clara's arc, to the how the Doctor feels about Clara, to Clara saying goodbye to the Doctor, to then moving on to let's have a Gallifrey saga where the Doctor's on Gallifrey. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant continuation. But then you fuck it up in halfway through Hellbent. It's just annoying.
Yeah. No, it is right. It is that you've kind of ticked a lot of my points there about just how much it shows it because Clara as well is one of those people that not popular with a lot of people. Us included. We're not big Clara fans. Admittedly, yes, I'm more of a Clara fan over some of the recent editions, but I'm not a Clara fan generally. But you got to kind of think, as much as we don't like Clara, the Doctor does. And you kind of separate that. Go, oh, why is he doing all this for Clara? Clara's not even that good. Yeah, but to the Doctor, she is. And it kind of doing all of that, not giving this information away and all that kind of thing, just shows that actually the Doctor and all this, the grief all the way through it. It's like, yeah, this is going to have an impact on the Doctor. Whether or not it has an impact on us as an audience, it will on the Doctor as a character. And I like that. I just made myself laughing. So I just looked at my final. I only wrote 2 negatives for this episode. And one of those negatives just says minus hellbent.
Because it is a negative. Because it takes away from some things that happen in this episode.
It does. It's a shame. And you can appreciate this episode for what it is on its own. You can. But you got to think, like, it is very much setting up a lot of stuff. It is the idea that somebody was after the Doctor, the teleport machine. You see that in the episode before. And then the episode after deals with what it actually was. This is very much part 2 of 3, very much. And you got to think about what comes before and after. And it is just like, you did such a good job here. Why did you mess it up so much? It's just frustrating. But for treating it on its own, it's just one of those. I said earlier that it's Doctor Who firing on all. What that? Oh, I saw the word funny, but I read it as furry. I thought, what the hell am I talking about? It is very much Doctor Who firing on all cylinders. Yeah. Everybody involved is at the top of their game. Capaldi, top of the game. I think this must be the point where a lot of people who weren't fussed on Capaldi came around. Because it's the kind of thing you go, right, you're going to sit with him for an hour. The episode's actually 10 minutes longer than most
54
episodes.
minutes, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, so you are going to sit with this actor for 54 minutes, whether you like it or not. And I think a lot of people would have gone, by the end of it, and gone, oh, he's quite good. Like, as I was watching it, I was thinking, there aren't many other actors, if any, of the Doctor who could have pulled this off. Tennant would have been really good, but I don't think he'd have been able to pull it off to the degree that Capaldi does. Because Capaldi has more of like, I think Tennant's Doctor perhaps would have been like, because even when he is Time Lord Victorious, does the serious stuff, there's still like this funny side to him. He's still being a bit cheeky, that kind of thing. I don't think he'd have had the gravitas to pull it off like Capaldi does. John Hurt is the other one where I go, potentially he could have done it, but then his portrayal of the Doctor is too miserable. So I don't think he'd have been able to kind of rise up a bit to be a bit like, this is why I could do this. All right, I confess, that kind of thing.
It feels like this very specific scenario.
It feels very, yeah, exactly. That's what it feels like. And it's like, he's just absolute top of his game. It's like, it's the kind of thing you go, why do you like the 12th Doctor? You like go, heaven sent. Yeah, all right, okay, I'm with you. It's that kind of thing you just go, that is absolutely perfect. Moffat, absolutely perfect. The dialogue, there's an episode of just pure dialogue. If he'd messed that up, if you'd just put a couple of lines in that are like, what? Then you'd have been like, you've lost me. But the fact it's just like you said, it's poetic all the way through. It's those kind of fairy tale, mystical lines that he does so well that are like, it makes it work. If it had been Russell T Davies grounded soap writing, no, wouldn't have worked. If it had been Chibnall crap writing, no, it wouldn't have worked.
I like the difference there. You've got Russell T Davies's grounded writing, really works in some situations. Moffat's kind of fantasy, kind of the legend, and then you've got Chibnall's just crap.
It's just crap, yeah. Even lines like the day you lose them, blah, 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 blah. Great. There's so many other... Some other ones, like last week, I was writing loads of quotes as we were going along because it's an episode where he's just talking, so you need to write down your favourite talky bits. And like another one, kind of not really anything to do with the Doctor's character or anything, but it was just a line where he said it, and I kind of thought that's so layered. I thought that's so like, that is, you could put that in another play. You could put that in anything, and that would work so well. And it was a line where he just says, I'm not scared of hell. Hell is just heaven for bad people. And it was the way he said that, I just thought, well, like, yeah, you should think, well, hell is just heaven for bad people. Yeah, that's just where the bad people go. But if you're a bad person, hell, where it's really awful, of course you're going to love it. That would be your heaven. I thought that's such a good line. You could put that in Good Omens, some religious-y type of thing. So, do you know what I mean? Like a real serious religious drama, you could put that in there and you could put that in Daredevil. You would not even like question that. Think, oh, that line's from Doctor Who. That doesn't work here. Like, that is such a good line that I think it's one of those things like, Moffat, you should have saved that for something else. Or at least he wrote Dracula, didn't he? He could have put that in there. That would work there as well. I think that's such a good line. That is so like, that's the kind of quote that people would have tattooed on them. That is. I think that is a really good line. I was just really impressed by that.
It is, for me, this entire episode, it hinges on a couple of things. I find with anything I watch or read or listen to them, the thing that has to make it work is the script.
Yeah.
And you probably think, oh no, that's a given. Of course it's a script. But oftentimes, like if I watch a Fast and Furious film, the scripts are shit. And they are fundamentally not good films, but you still enjoy them because of the stunts and that kind of thing. But with this episode, it lives and dies on the script, because with a bad script, Capaldi can't act it. And with a bad script, the story don't work. It lives and dies on the script. And fuck me, does Moffat blow it out the fucking water with this script, because everything is written beautifully. It reminds me a lot of how, like, his big kind of arc with Matt Smith and all that kind of intertwined stuff.
Yeah.
He basically does the weird intertwined shit in a bubble. Like, he has this very one place, just small place, it's a mystery, but he somehow managed to interweave time travel in a sense in it, and the passage of time and the passage of locations by making it all move around. So that's your fantasy element. He manages to weave in what he writes best into a tiny, tiny idea. Well, and it's brilliantly done.
The kind of thing where people say, you know, like, say about J.J. Abrams, and they call it his mystery box all the time. And like Moffat, to an extent, also does a mystery box. It's like, there's a thing, and you open it up and it's revealed. We open that up and it reveals something else. You open that up, it reveals something. That is very much kind of how Moffat writes. And as I was writing it, I was going, he's literally in a mystery box. Like, he's literally in one.
He's in an escape room.
And I thought, yeah, he is. He's in a very extravagant escape room.
See, this is the thing.
Very expensive.
When people have said to me, go to an escape room, and I was like, this is the kind of shit I imagined. I went, and I'll be honest with you, very disappointed. So I was like, where the hell?
Padlocks and stuff like that.
Where's the monster gonna kill me? Where's the actual threat? I need to die.
I want this whole
come
set
back
to remove. Move, rotate. Yeah, carry on.
Yes, sir. No, so I think the writing is incredible from Moffat here, and there are so many elements which really work, and I just think the mystery itself, I've seen this episode before. I saw it I did it in a watch through, and I saw it actually with Aidan, and then I watched it again last night. And the mystery didn't land any less. Like, it was landed perfectly. I'm like, I know what's happening. I know what's going to happen. I know everything about this. Because once you know what's going to happen, it all makes sense. But it's that kind of mystery where when you're watching it again, you see it all flow in front of you in a kind of... Because obviously at the end of the episode, it does that montage, which is beautiful, where it shows you him going through every moment and why every single moment mattered, and then it focuses on the key bits, why these bits were important. But if you watch it...
I wrote a little bit about that as well, because I wrote this is the best editing in Doctor Who ever. So I was thinking it's the kind of thing as well where they use different takes and things like that. Yeah. So it's enough to be like, they use a lot of the different takes, but a lot of the same takes, a lot of the same clips, but different, that kind of thing. And that's such a clever way of going, this is the same thing, but he's doing it again.
Exactly.
If he just showed you the same bits again, you'd go, has he gone back in time? Is he doing this again? Show it differently.
There are tiny differences.
Go, oh, so
saying
he's
a different
doing
number, kind of jumping out like just the way that he jumped out the window, different angle, like it's all...
It's like when he first steps out of the teleport, when it originally does the... when he just like said, I wrote it down because I really liked it. I'm the Doctor, I'm coming to find you, and I'll never ever stop. When he does that bit, when it first does that in the episode, it's quite far out. But then when it did it again, it was dead close in on his face. And I thought that's just a way of saying he's here again and he's doing it again, but it's not the same as we saw before. No. It's a second version, or actually probably quite a few thousand versions from that. And I just really thought, this is amazing. I thought, I don't know who the editor is, but I just thought this is like the best editing Doctor Who's ever did.
Editing, direction, writing to write it like that.
Because there's no other bit in Doctor Who I can think of. That was a complete reboot there, that was. There's no other time in Doctor Who. I still can't speak. Jesus. There's no other time in Doctor Who I can think of where editing is a clear thing that I'm looking out for. It's just scene. Thank you. Credits.
And the editor needs a
very
damn
much
raise.
literally, this is like going, look at me. I am your editor. It's very much like, look what I am doing for you. And it's like going, oh, you're doing a really good job, actually. That's really nice. I just really love
It's
the way
great.
that was done.
No, I know exactly what you mean. And by doing it like that, it reminds you where everything flows together. And it's very important. It's very important it tells you the mystery, because the amount of times you watch a mystery and it's like, it tells you the mystery. And it's very much like, and there was the meddling kids, and this evil person went to the shops, and they then picked up the cigarettes, which were secretly drugs. And it's just, it's like, it spells it out for you. But it doesn't feel like you're being forced, like, this is what happened, understand it. It's very much
Even
just
by
like,
the time it's given you the like, even as you're going through that montage, you can still be like, what is going on?
it is giving you the pieces of the puzzle repeatedly.
It's like just flashing subliminal
Exactly,
messages
to the
at
point
you.
where you're like, understand this, understand it. Like, it's like, right, okay, if you're not getting like these 7 points, I'll condense it to 3 points. These are the 3 main points. Do you get it? Okay, there's 1 point. Do you understand this? It condenses it to the core elements. And by doing that, you really fucking understand everything that's happened. And then the ending just hits, because it's this build up, and the music is beautiful at the same time. But just by doing that, it makes the whole episode hit. And vice versa. When you go to watch it again, you have you see it all laid out in a very slow, very
You're just watching that
thought
montage,
out
but
manner.
slow down.
Exactly.
That's
You're
all
seeing it in a
doing.
thought out manner, and you're seeing all of these elements. And when you watch it again in that sense, you see everything that makes sense, and you see little things that are important, which the montage skips over because it's not the main point. You know,
Yeah.
it's very much, it's rewatchable because everything is important, and the montage doesn't ruin the episode for you, because all it does is it just shows you what you should have been looking out for. So when you watch it again, you see these things. It's
one of those things on a rewatch. You
perfect.
kind of think you could kind of just watch this episode on a loop. Just cut that little Gallifrey bit out at the end, and you could just watch this on a loop. All right. Because like, even I love the way it starts. That when you watch this the first time, you see that hand burns away, it pulls the lever, does all that. You can just skip over that. You go, oh, I don't know what that was all about. You just watch the episode, and then as he's going along, he's going, oh, somebody's been here before me. It's kind of like, well, whatever. I don't know who that was. Doesn't matter. Then when you rewatch it, you realize, oh, we actually kind of started just before that last cycle. It's kind of go, I don't know, this isn't the Doctor's first. I think by that time, doesn't he say, we've gone about 7,000 years
7,000
into
is
the
the first
future?
number he says, yeah.
So you like think, already, how many times has he done this? He said it takes him a day to get up the stairs. He maybe spent a day going around. So maybe he was there for 2 days. He aged. Because there's a debate over how much the Doctor actually aged in this.
Technically, he doesn't.
Some people say he aged 4 billion years, but no, I think he only aged the 2
Yeah,
days.
technically it's 2 days. Ooh. No, yeah, 2 days. Just had a thought, because I was like, how does the teleporter work? Does it take the version he's burning? No, it doesn't. It takes the version just before he arrived. So that is that daily version.
It is 2. Then even in the next series, he says he's 2,000 years old. So I'm thinking, well, we know for a fact that he's actually only aged 2. Only age is him from the leaving the teleport, going back to the teleport. It's the only time it ages him. Where was I going with this point? Yeah, so the episode starts on when you rewatch it, you realize you probably started on the 87,000th time he's already done this, but you think it's the first. He's got whatever. I don't know who was there before. Just some guy. Maybe it's just some prison that people go to or whatever, that kind of thing. So even like when he sees that picture of Clara, and he goes, "Well, that's really old." You can see how cracked and ancient it is. Think, well, I bet the first time he was there, it was brand new. But by now, when you see that bit when he goes underwater, you see all those skulls. They're all him. All right is actually technically Capaldi's skull as well, because they scanned his head and went, let's show you what your skull looks like.
Imagine owning that.
That's not creepy.
But
at
imagine
all.
that would be a mantelpiece thing.
What's that? It's my skull. What? Ah.
I drink out of it on Sundays.
Yeah, I just thought it was like, so when you know that, it's one of those, like you said, because there's so many things that have a mystery or a twist. And when you find out that mystery or the twist, you cannot go back and watch it because it ruins it. Big example that I can think of, Sixth Sense. You find out the twist, no need to watch the film ever again. Twist doesn't actually work when you then rewatch it, because you go, well, who ordered the food in the cafe then? Well, whatever. And you think it ruins it from then on, because the whole point is like going, oh, what is it? Whereas this is one of the things you can watch time and time again. Like I said, you can just watch this on loop, and you'll probably still notice new things. You'll still work bits out. You'll still find out things like the whole shepherd's boy tale. because it's going at
which I learned in like 5 minutes, and then sent Aidan like snaps of it like a couple of months ago because I was just bored and I thought I'd learn this.
Yeah, and I thought you were going clinically insane.
Well, no, that happened yesterday.
But it's like even that shepherd boy bit, because the montage is going so fast and the music is swelling so loud at that point, which I also love that it's the same music that plays when Capaldi regenerates, and that's such a good detail because there's so much of this is foreshadowing Twice Upon a Time. I'll come on to that shortly. And it's very easy to kind of just blank out that shepherd's boy story. I probably do, actually. I don't really know what the story of the shepherd's boy really is. I just kind of blank it.
I do.
Because you learnt it.
Yes.
But I kind of just blank it out. And it's one of those things, if you just watch this episode over and over again, enough times you'd be able to just learn that, not just reading it and reciting it like you did, like a lunatic. But do you know what I mean? It's that kind of thing where you can notice new details. You can notice new bits. You go, oh, I never spotted that before. Because I never noticed that bit before.
Like I can say exactly, like here I'm with the portrait of Clara. I didn't actually notice how it was really old. Like I was just like, that's old. Didn't twig why, and now you just mentioned it. I'm like, oh yeah, it's because it's like it twigged just then, like that little thing, and it's like that's not even a little thing, but there'll be loads of little things that will make sense.
And bits where people can go, well, yeah, duh, but then you could have something where people go, duh, and you go, yeah, but have you noticed that? And they go, oh,
exactly.
No, I haven't actually.
It's everything here is done for a reason. It's like the production design is flawless. The location because it's CGI, but also set is flawless. Scriptwriting is flawless.
The thing that takes me out of it slightly is that it's filmed at Cardiff Castle.
Have you been there?
And I've been there. So the bit where, he's sat eating the soup, like I've been in that room. There's a bit where he runs to a library. When I go, I've been to that room, and also Sarah Jane filmed in there. And there's also another bit where he has that really grand ceiling.
Yeah, that bit, yeah.
I've got a photo of that.
That one felt, that was the only location there where I was like, it doesn't feel like the same place. Where it's the grand ceiling or something like, the rest has been stone. Where's the marble come from? Where's the paint?
Take that up with Cardiff Castle.
Is it actually like one room's just fucking...
Yeah, it is. That's an actual room in the castle.
Oh, I love that.
It's just like there's a really grand ceiling. There is an explanation for it. I've got a photo of it on my phone where I went, oh, that looks pretty. But you know what I mean?
Pretty colours.
That's the only thing that takes me out of it. And I go, all you need to have done is been to Cardiff Castle, and you could go, well, I know where that is.
It's nice to know it's all in the same place though.
Like they could have just done a little bit to set dress. Like you think they've filmed a Cardiff Castle. You know that same bit, he's eating the soup? Same room as in Nightmare in Silver when he's playing the chess with himself.
Oh.
Exact same room. And it's they just filmed it the other way around. And it's a bit like, that was only 2 series ago. I know where you are. Do you know what I mean?
Come on.
It's a bit like,
could you not have afforded somewhere else?
Like, at least go to another castle. They've gone, we'll just go to the one around the corner. It was literally around the corner from the studio.
Makes sense though. As a producer myself, if I can get a location around the corner every time, doesn't matter how many times we used it. If I can make it work, we're going there.
Yeah,
it works.
But we filmed there before. We even used it for Sarah Jane. Doesn't matter.
Flip the camera.
Doing it again. We'll just do a very quick shot. You won't notice.
Did we do it in the store closet? We didn't know. The broom cupboard. We'll go.
We've never done that ceiling before. Show that ceiling. Ooh,
it's just a Capaldi's nostrils.
Everybody in Cardiff will know where we are, but that's not the point.
Yeah, everyone not in Cardiff, no fucking idea.
Yes,
genius.
Because if you think about it, this episode must have been cheap.
Oh God, cheap.
Like
you
really
pay for the
cheap.
Location, one actor, and
a bit of VFX.
Bash it out. You get that done in no time.
Yet. Usually, in series 1, a lot, some of the worst episodes we had, a word we would always say is, it just feels cheap. This is clearly cheap.
But it doesn't feel
But it doesn't feel cheap. Like this is, I would say this is the best shot episode of Doctor Who. I think I could say that. Even like, 'cause I'm thinking even a lot of the Jodie Whittaker stuff does actually look nice. I'm thinking, but my God, they need to learn that lens flares are about 10 years out of date. We saw them. We've had enough of them. There's no need to go lens flare.
I've seen one J.J. Abrams film. That was enough lens flare.
Enough lens flare for a lifetime. Yes. Whereas Doctor Who's now going lens flare. It's like, you're right.
Sorry,
Star Trek 2013. I don't need it anymore.
Am I supposed to be seeing the actors? All I can
when
see
was
is
that Star Trek film? I just need to prove a point.
I'm going to guess
here.
like 20.
I'm going to say 2011.
I was actually going to guess 2011 as well, but I'm going to guess instead 2013.
I believe Into Darkness was 2013.
Oh.
Star Trek J.J. Abrams. Oh, neither of us were right. 2009.
2009?
2009, the first one. When was
really?
God. Was Into Darkness. Into Darkness was 2013.
Then the latest was.
Beyond was like 2018, I think. 2016? Why are these films older than I thought they were?
It's insane because that means I was 9 when the first one came out.
I was
Wow.
8.
No, it would have been 8, yeah. 8 or 9, depending on the month.
So there you go. That's the point is that I'm saying that, yes, the Jodie Whittaker era does look nice. Occasionally. But when they go lens flare, it's like, yeah, we saw that in 2009. David Tennant was still the Doctor. There is no need to do that again.
Mm.
Whereas here, a lot of TV looks flat. It just looks like an image.
Mm.
A lot of TV. The Russell T Davies era does.
Yeah.
It's great, obviously. I love it. I'm not slandering it, but it just looks
Slander.
It looks flat. It
Yeah,
looks
yeah,
like it looks like a drawing. There's the sofa. There's the TARDIS. There's the Doctor. Whereas this is one of those few episodes where there's depth. Whereas you can feel like, oh, that thing's really far away and that thing's here. There's the my favorite shot is the bit where he was eating soup and he's center frame and it's going gradually pushing in on him. The background's almost completely black and it's just a focus on him because you feel just like he's in this vast space where you kind of just feel like it's just him alone in a massive place, which is what the episode is doing. And I thought, that is an amazing shot. Well done, Rachel Talalay, who is rumoured to be returning as well.
Rachel Talalay.
Yeah, she's the director of Series 8 finale,
Mhm.
Series 9 finale,
Mhm.
Series 10 finale,
Mm.
and then Capaldi's last episode. So she's very much like the Capaldi era kind of woman.
Mm.
Didn't come back for Jodie Whittaker. It's rumoured she's going to be directing the 60th. And I'm like, yes, please
Do you think she's...
bring her back.
I like to think she's like, only if Capaldi's in it. And Capaldi's like, oh, fine. Getting dragged along by the ankles. Come in. No, I don't want to do it.
It's one of those things that I think if, like, to pull Capaldi in, I think if they went, yeah, it's going to be written by Russell, and he's going, ooh, and directed by Rachel, who'd go, ooh.
Mm.
You'd very much be like, okay, I may pop along. Do you have a favourite shot?
Favourite shot?
Because I wrote a few down.
Honestly, I love the one of him on the dining table. To be honest, I love her.
That one, that's my
It was a
favourite,
lovely
yeah.
wide with the way the sunbeams were hitting like him, and you could see that whole scene is about loneliness and the emptiness and the fact he's like, how long am I going to be here alone in this prison? And it's that pure, and it is, and the shot. I just love the shot as itself, but the shot is visually showing his loneliness.
No, I was saying like the whole empty in a vast, lonely space. It's one of those you kind of go, it's just like everything the episode is in one shot. I think that's really great. I wrote other ones down. I like the bit where he first gets down to the glass or whatever it was called, the abazabazabadum thing, glass, diamond.
The harder the 4 times harder than diamond.
It's something like
diamond.
absantium or something like that. I don't know what it is. There's a bit as he's walking down that corridor with the completely smooth walls with the light kind of bouncing off them. There's kind of it when he just puts his sunglasses on, he kind of reaches his hand out. That looks so good there as he's walking towards it. The bit when he puts his hand against the abazabazabadium looks great. And then the bit where he turns and has it to his back and they do the jaws pull in and out thing. I'm sure you know what the actual term is because I left film production 2 years ago, but it was...
I hate what I'm doing, so why would I remember it?
That was one of those things I thought that looks great. It's one of those where you go, there aren't many episodes of Doctor Who. We have done some before. Midnight is one where you can say the direction is evident. You can see what they're doing. They're bringing attention to it. There are occasions where they do that. There aren't many where it is like, who directed this one? A lot of the time you go, I don't care.
Usually the direction is, it's good, but it's like, it's not the thing that you're like, that's great. Whereas in this, it's very much the direction is you notice it because it's so good and it is and it
it's
flows
clearly
in.
doing something.
That's the point,
clearly
yes.
going, hey, look over
here. If the
here.
script's saying something, the acting's saying it, and the directing's saying it, and the production design is saying it. Every element is all progressing towards the same goal of saying something, depending on the scene.
Yeah, and I've seen stories before where Rachel Talalay's talked about like how difficult they found this episode.
Why?
Because it's like one set, we need to do different angles, we need to tell this different story all the way through. She was saying when like Moffat pitched it to her, she thought this is a nightmare. How am I going to do this? How am I going to do a moving castle? How am I going to do the same location, but it's a different location?
That is fair enough, actually.
How are we going to do this corridor, which is the same corridor? We need to show it's a different corridor.
Like if I tell you to shoot the corridor outside in 3 different ways, you'll have one way done. You'll be like, I'm going to shoot it this way. And then you're like, but that's how I'd shoot the corridor. how am I supposed to do it in a different? That's what I want to tell. I want to tell
Yeah.
this story. And then if you try and shoot it a different way, you're like, but is this telling the same story? And
Because
somehow,
it's like you said, if it was that corridor, and you're going to walk up that corridor, now do it again, but it's a different corridor. Go, well, no, it's the same corridor. It's like, no, it's a different.
it's a different corridor. You got to tell a different story as
Yeah.
well. Like it's like, how the fuck do I do that? But it's a testament to Rachel Talalay's abilities there.
Like it's one of those things. You go, I would never have been able to do that. It's an absolute nightmare. And she says it was so stressful. Well, I really like those like over like lockdown and stuff. She posted a lot of like sketch drawings, things that she drew, like one of those kind of, I always call them napkin drawings, where people just quickly drew something. It was like this really rough sketch where she kind of drew like what she wanted the castle to look like and all these different things. It's a really rough plan. You kind of think that's her like working it through her head. The life looks really kind of cool. That's the reason she's rumored to be returning, because she was on her way to Cardiff doing one of those kind of sketch things, but didn't say what. Like she posted a picture of this sketchy thing saying she was on her way to Cardiff, but didn't say what that thing was for. And it's a bit like,
you tell us if it wasn't if it wasn't Doctor Who, you'd probably like, she's done right. You've done sketches for Doctor Who. If it wasn't Doctor Who, what other shows would you be going to Cardiff for that you couldn't tell anyone about? Nothing.
Casualty.
Really. Casualty. I'm going to be working on fucking Casualty. But yeah, it's got to be Doctor Who. It's got to be.
yeah, I really hope so.
Has to be.
She's one of my favorite Doctor Who directors, because she just
Well, this
knocks it out.
episode is evidence.
Yeah, it's one of those. Who's your favorite Doctor Who director? Rich, tell me. I'm not familiar with her, but what episode does she do? Heaven Sent. Oh yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you.
My second point here is Capaldi's acting. Holy motherfucking shit. That's the actual quote. Because it's fucking incredible. Like, just from the moment he appears, like, it's like just to do that shocked breath of teleport and just like that. Like, that's already just good acting. Because it's like, you're now coming out of a teleporter. It's a bit rudimentary. How would you react? just like you're trying to catch your breath because you've just been sent through particles. You're a bit fucked. So that's already, we're there. Although it's technically not the first time we see him. It's the first time we see him is dying. But that's the first time we see him, and it's already amazing. And you have throughout the entire episode, you have him demonstrating so many different layers to the Doctor. We can go with just fun moments here. When he jumps out the fucking window, I love that bit so much. I burst out laughing every time I see it because it's so fucking smashes a window.
So another way, he just suddenly throws it. And he just goes.
He goes straight into jump
goes.
mode, like he's standing facing away from the window, and somehow he's able to twist and jump directly behind him at the same time. And the way he does it is brilliant. And the confidence, it's just like, yes, I'm jumping out.
I like what he just goes, but he didn't see that coming. Like, it's just like,
It's very funny.
Because most people need to run and then jump. You just jump.
No, he can jump from the spot out a window. Like that's very impressive. But that's just he can do the funny moment and kind of the heroic moment well. And then you've also got the really sad moments where he's kind of speaking about losing Clara. You feel the emotional weight of that situation. And then you've also got when he's up against the actual Veil, the monster, and then he figures he's trapped in a situation against the wall. And even when he's in the TARDIS doing like that Mind Palace thing, was like, what's the quote exactly? That was another close one. Like the moment he runs into the TARDIS, he's saying that. And it's like he's being funny, cocky, and it's like, oh, he's going to get out of this. But also you can feel there's a stress there because it's very much like, if I don't figure this out, I am dead. And you can feel that. And that's brilliant there. And there are loads of other moments, but I'll just say one more because obviously you've obviously got
Keep
moments.
going.
You sure? You've obviously got moments to talk about. But my other favorite one is the ending. Not the ending. The ending where he breaks through the glass when he does the big speech. Because I do love that speech. And although, as you said, you don't actually really, you don't get it all in its entirety in one go. Because it's like you get the beginning, the middle, the end. That's what you get. And you kind of piece it together. But that story is very, very important for what he's doing. Because of the idea of tenacity. But when he gets to the end of that story and he just says fucking, personally, I think that's one hell of a bird. I'm like, yes, it's such a heroic moment. And it doesn't feel cocky. It feels earned. Like he's like, I've fucking done this shit. It's a fuck you to the Veil, but it's a really kind of collected like, yeah, I did. And then that's that. And it's just, Capaldi has so many brilliant moments in this. And it's just
one of those where
his
it's
range is incredible.
That's it. It's the range of Capaldi that I kind of really sold me on. Because this is probably my turning point for going, oh my God, I love this Doctor. Already series 9 really is kind of that all the way through for me. From the episode 1 where he's on a tank playing guitar and I'm going, oh, that's interesting. To now him just being like, I'm going to give you everything I've got. I'm going to show you me dark. I'm going to show you me scary. You're going to be scared of me, but you're also going to laugh. You're going to laugh with me. You're going to feel sorry for me. You're going to feel elated for me. Every single thing in this episode, like you've got the moment he steps on. I said that bit when he's like saying, I'll come for you. I'll never, ever stop. The Doctor is terrifying in that moment because you feel threatened by him. And he's not, it's like that. It's just, it's the kind of episode that sums up Doctor Who's message of being brains over brawn. You're like, I'm going to work this out and you're going to be scared of me. Like, oh, what are you going to do when you've worked it out? It's like, I don't know, but I will come for you. It's like, I'm just going to threaten you now with words. I don't need to be like, and when I work this out, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to blow this place up. He's not saying anything like that. He's just saying, I will come for you and I will never stop.
And it's not what are you going to do when you get to me?
He's not giving you any specifics, but it's like, I should be scared of you, shouldn't I? Yes, you should.
Because why do you find that scary? Like, if someone were to just say to you, I'm going to come for you or never stop coming for you, and then you're like, so what? You're going to get to me and you're going to give me a tickle? From Capaldi's Doctor, you're like, I'm kind of fucked right now.
Yeah.
It's that you feel that threat from a simple sentence of like, it's just like someone texting you on my way and you're like, shit. Like, it's just
like,
that.
And even like later when he sees the spade in the corridor, he's still in that mode. He's still being threatening. He's saying, I've just seen my best friend die. This is not a good day to mess with me. You're still like, ooh, what's he going to do? But he still manages to make a joke. I hate gardeners. I just love the way he's like, you kind of have the moment. You go, oh, then you go straight back into it. You go, oh, we're still going. And it's kind of like, it gives you this moment of relief to go, oh, he is quite funny, isn't he? Oh, but he's still meaning business. And you get that all the way through. You see him be vulnerable when he admits that he's scared of dying, when he admits that he ran away from Gallifrey.
That bit when he admits about running away, I just love that because it's very much that he's calling back to the first moment of Doctor Who in history. And it's giving us an explanation that you could piece together. But it's something very special about hearing the Doctor actually say it.
Because it's like we've always been told he was bored, he disagreed with their ways, but it's like the Doctor just saying, no, I was scared. And it's something that, again, that like...
He can also be those other things, but the crux is he was scared.
And it takes you back to like something like Listen, when you see him as a child and he's there all crying in his bed and he's soothed by Clara. So no wonder he is upset when Clara goes. And it's like, it's just one of those things where you go... Yeah, I always say that. I always say this. It's frustrating. People go, "Oh, the Capaldi era is like it's one long story, more so than any for the Doctor as a character, more so than any other Doctor." From that, pay attention to what they say and listen, because that'll be relevant for Heaven Sent. And what he says in Heaven Sent, that's going to be relevant for Twice Upon a Time.
The point
listen
is,
to all of it.
Yeah, you summarized it exactly there. The point of Capaldi's era isn't you're not really there for the stories he's going through. You are. They're good. But you're there to explore the Doctor's character as a whole, and Capaldi is the best person you can have to explore the entire being that is the Doctor. Because it does it in quite a blunt way as well. You go back, you meet the first Doctor. It's like, there you go. It does that it's very overt in doing that, but it's very subtle in the rest of the series.
And then you think about like, even though the next episode we have our issues with it, you've got the great bit where he walks towards the barn. And it's doing the exact same shots from Day of the Doctor. They're going, yes, this is all connected. This is about Capaldi's Doctor. Sure, we're going to grow him from Deep Breath all the way to Twice Upon a Time. But we're also just delving into the Doctor. Who is the Doctor? And we're going to show you bits from everywhere.
What do they mean to the universe? What do they mean to themselves?
It's like, how many times does it show you bits? You get the first Doctor in Listen. You get the first Doctor in Twice Upon a Time. You get the War Doctor reference in Hellbent. You get the 10th Doctor reference in The Girl Who Died. It's bringing every little strand together to say, this is the Doctor. Let's delve into him. Which Doctor? All of them. Via Capaldi.
And that's the thing. I get goosebumps from this. You probably guess what moment I'm going to talk about. But with Capaldi, you have moments that harken back to previous Doctors, and not just like the first.
Do you remember when I
one.
fought a wasp?
Exactly. They are. It's a callback to Doctors for meaning, because he calls back to the reason he's got his face, and he calls back to Tennant's Doctor, which gives me goosebumps because it's like it's not just do you remember when I was a skinny boy in a suit? It's not that. He's calling back to the fact. As that Doctor, as himself, he saw that face and that face had meaning. And it is reminding you of something that's happened in Doctor Who and showing you there was more meaning to it for the character that is the Doctor as a whole.
Yeah.
And that is what I want from Doctor Who. of the moments.
Is one long story.
Moments like that remind you they're the same character without being like, it's not reliant on the past, but it's showing you they are the same character. They feel different in elements because they change. They have different friends because they change, but they have still gone through that. They've changed because they've grown from there. And it's very important. And Doctor Who should never forget that. It's part of the reason why the Jodie era was quite shit for me, because it felt like it just wanted to forget what it was, to the point where they didn't even fucking mention Capaldi or really anything to do with like him being Scottish
I can only think of, in the entire Whittaker era, I can only think of 2 references to Capaldi.
And that's a big problem, because that's the one before, for God's sake, you know?
My favourite bit of acting for Capaldi was the bit where he's saying, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep doing this. And then he just falls and he just sits and he kind of just puts his hand on his mouth. And you just see he's absolutely broken in that moment. He goes, I can't keep doing this. And he just kind of just, to the point where he's just weak and he just falls to the floor. And then he says that he's just kind of sitting there like, why do I have to keep doing this? Why do I have to keep running around? Why do I have to keep saving the day? It's like, you have to win. And I kind of think that's the same debate he has in Twice Upon a Time. You're setting that up now, of him being like, why do I keep doing this? I keep doing this and then I lose all the time. I can save the day. I can beat the monster, but I lose a companion. It's the same debate he has in Twice Upon a Time. And it's like, it's not people going, well, they're just doing the same thing again. No, they're setting it up. Because the Doctor loses Clara and he thinks, oh, then he gets Bill. But he loses Bill. He thinks, for God's sake, why do I keep trying? Why do I keep taking on
I can save all
companions?
these people, but I lose the people I care about most.
Yeah. So why do I keep taking companions on? They're just going to die. They're just going to leave me all the time. Why do I keep bothering? And I like that. That's what you should be doing.
Honestly, now that you say it like that, to me it makes no sense why Jodie has so many companions then. Wouldn't it have made more sense for her to have none?
No
for a little bit?
companions.
And that would have been
It's
more
kind of thing.
fresh.
If like Moffat wrote the next Doctor, I think that's the direction they would have taken.
God, I would have loved that. Because you know me, I love, like, part of the reason why I love this episode so much, because it is a Doctor dealing with a situation by themselves. I love give me my favorite character dealing with it without any help. I love that.
Okay. Final quick fire things if you've got anything else to say.
One thing which I found really, really interesting is obviously he's on Gallifrey and this is a Time Lord thing. Did you notice how everything was clockwork and time related?
Yeah.
And how that was very much just like time, like everything was clockwork. The veil was made of clockwork stuff, and it's very much like, ooh, Time Lords. It's just nice, brilliant production design, and also the music is incredible, and just the whole episode is damn fucking fantastic. And I would probably give it a 10 out of 10. That's me.
I really like the return to Gallifrey. I remember it I did not know it was coming. And I remember when he says home, it's the TARDIS. Yeah, it's the TARDIS.
We've been in the TARDIS during the episode. It makes sense.
Yeah, it's like, it's one of those things where I didn't even question it. I'm not even going, but what if it's not the TARDIS? I'm literally thinking, okay, behind that glass, absemptium, that is the TARDIS. And then he punches through and he steps out on Gallifrey. Even watching it today, I got goosebumps of that original feeling of going, oh my God, we're on Gallifrey. Because like, the second you are on that desert, you know where he is.
Oh yeah.
Even when he says,
orange tint.
because when he says to that kid, he just says, I'm back. And I love that. It doesn't even say the Doctor's back. He just says, I'm back. They all know who I am. And he goes, run to the city. You're not going, what city? Well, where are we? And then as the kid runs away, it does do the pan out and shows you the Citadel for anybody that was left confused. But for most of us, we see that orange surface and we go, oh shit, we're on Gallifrey.
Oh yeah.
After, when did this come out? 2015. After 10 years of Doctor Who being back, we're finally on Gallifrey properly. We're not just on, we've had Time Lords on Gallifrey, but the Doctor is back on the surface.
And actually on the sand.
Yeah,
like the
he's
dirt.
actually on Gallifrey. When was the last time we'd seen the Doctor on Gallifrey?
I mean, obviously you've got the
I think
the Doctor in it, but that doesn't.
Yeah, but
Doesn't really
that
count.
doesn't count. I'm trying to think, the last time we had the Doctor actually on, I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, pretty sure it was the 5th Doctor era.
Wow.
6th Doctor has the trial of, he's put on trial by Time Lords, but he's not on Gallifrey. 7th Doctor doesn't go to Gallifrey. 8th Doctor doesn't. I'm pretty sure the fit is 5 and then 12.
Mm.
You actually you only get then.
It's good though that it's not loads. That's the
Yeah,
main
I
thing.
actually don't actually see the Doctor on Gallifrey very often thinking about it.
But
So
that's
when
good.
you do it, you need it to be a big occasion. And this is at the end of the episode. And it is for half of Hellbent. And then he isn't. But that's one thing. Another thing, right, like last few points, because I wrote so much, I feel like I need to get some out. Actually, I've only got one more thing. No, two more things. One, I've got one plus, one negative. One plus is that I love how creepy and scary it is. I love that we've said that about so many Moffat episodes. So there's the bit when he's in that room where I love where he also says it's like theater, and that's kind of like what the episode kind of is because it's just monologues. I like when he says that. I like when he says this is a device aimed to scare me. That's not what it is. It's a device aimed to interrogate him. But the way that it's kind of the Doctor assumes, oh, this is just a scary thing. It's kind of like what the audience is thinking. He's thinking, this is Moffat's just got to be scary, hasn't it? And then there's more to it. I like that. I thought that was a really clever
It's
way.
Moffat giving you what he's good at, but also saying there's more to it this time.
Yes, like going, yes, I'm just doing another scary thing. I'm doing the Empty Child, I'm doing the Weeping Angels, I'm doing all that stuff again to give you the silence. Yeah, I've done scary before. It's just me being scary. Oops, you've got me. No, something else. Ha ha ha. I like the way that happens. My one negative, other than Hellbent, was the hybrid stuff I've said before in Hellbent. I don't care.
What is the hybrid in the end? I forget. Do we ever find
It's
out?
still up for debate.
Because he says at the end of this episode, it's me.
Our
in a way.
friend Daniel who was on our Hellbent episode. I'm saying for the audience.
Oh yeah, sorry.
You know who Daniel is. We see him every week.
I was like, I know Daniel. What the hell?
We see him every week. We did the Hellbent podcast with him. He said that he once said to me, he said, people who don't like the hybrid storyline just don't get it. And I thought, all right, I probably just don't get it then, because in the end, I don't think it really is revealed. It's just kind of still up for debate. But it's one of those things where, okay, the Doctor says in this one that the Time Lords were scared of the hybrid long before the Time War. I'm thinking, all right, well, the Time War's done. Why are they scared of it? Why are they pissing about with it now then? You know what I mean? Why have they locked him in a confession jar for 4 billion years?
It's a bit of a weird thing
going,
to have.
Tell us who the hybrid is. It's like, why is that your priority? Surely your priority should be rebuilding Gallifrey.
Maybe.
Why
Well, we know Time Lords. They like a war. They're probably like, well, that one's done. Hybrid was a thing.
It's just a bit.
Stir that pot up.
It's just a bit like, why now?
Yeah. Fucking hell, you're a bit late.
Do you know what I mean? It's just,
Yeah.
it's just one of those things. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of some modern example. It's like World War II ending, and then like Germany suddenly deciding, well, 10 billion years ago, meteors hit this planet. We hit this country. We must have a war with them. Like, well, why now? Of
Well,
all
you had your war
times.
phase.
So you just had your war. Surely your focus should be rebuilding, getting back on your feet. Why are you suddenly like going attack somebody else? It's like going what? What?
Yeah.
Why now?
Yeah, I get exactly what you
That's my
mean.
only thing. I'm not going why.
But
Why
I
are you
can
bothered
say-
about this?
But it's good because you can just ignore it. But this is just a thing to say what like the hybrid is kind of a good version of Timeless Child. Because the hybrid gives you theories on what the hybrid is, and in the end, you can just ignore it because you don't find out fundamentally what it is. You don't get told it. So you're like, could be this, could be that. And if you want to believe it's a thing, it can be. And if it isn't, it isn't. And that is how you do it. The
That's
Timeless
how
Child-
you do a vague storyline.
Exactly.
You keep it vague. You start it vague. You give enough clues for the audience to get their own theories,
We don't really
and then
care much about it, so
I
we can
would
ignore
say-
it.
I would
Daniel likes it, so he can enjoy
yeah,
that.
I would say that the hybrid is the sheer power of the Doctor and Clara.
I think it is the hybrid between
and the
the
lengths
Doctor
he
and...
will go to protect her, and the lengths she will go to protect him.
I don't think it's just those two. I think it is the hybrid. To me, the hybrid is the Doctor and humanity. It is that because the Doctor, before he met humanity, was someone very different. And then when he meets humanity and discovers that,
Yeah, that's the theory.
to me, that's what it is. Because it isn't just him and Clara, him and companions. It's the Doctor and friends, basically. It's him and his
It's
fam.
like the child reboot. When a Doctor eventually dies, and they think, let's reboot this for CBBC. It's just called The Doctor and Friends. Rating out of 10. I believe you already said it, but
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. 12 out of 10.
12 out of
It's
10.
just like-
Another thing, it's fucking poetic that the door is number 12. It's on the nose, but I love that
Yes,
shit
and
so
we'll also
much.
be doing that in a few weeks. We're going to be doing the God Complex, where the 11th Doctor goes to room 11. So we'll be doing that.
I don't remember that one.
No, because it's on the second half of series 6.
I love how we
which is
figured this out.
Purposely why I've put it in the schedule. That slot originally in the schedule was for a 12th Doctor episode. And I thought I can't really think of an objectively good one. So I dropped 12th Doctor episode. And I thought in its place, I'm going to put the God Complex because it was kind of requested. Because in the episode where we said that you didn't see the second half of series 6, Will commented and he's going, well, does that mean George hasn't seen the God Complex? That's a real shame. He should see that one. So I thought, good idea, Will. I'll put that into the schedule. That's irrelevant. Not going to be doing that for a couple of weeks. Next week, we're going to be doing The Haunting of Villa Diodati, which is going to be the last 13th Doctor episode we shall do on the podcast.
You mentioned that I should have seen that one. I'm glad I didn't because I'm looking forward to now watching it now.
It was my favourite 13th Doctor episode until War of the Sontarans came along.
Okay.
And then Village of the Angels came along because that pushed that. Village of the Angels went down to second.
It's become third.
War
basically.
of the Sontarans is first.
Yeah.
Then Village of the Angels.
Flip those two for me.
Then Haunting of Villa. Join us next week.
Thank you very much for listening, everyone.
This is the longest episode we have recorded
Seriously?
for quite some. You know what? Not quite some time. This is the longest episode we have ever recorded.
Fuck me. Well, he won't edit this. You're stuck with this episode.
So funny. When I planned this out, I expected it to be
Short and sweet.
Short. I expected it to be Fear Her length.
Yeah.
Instead, this is probably going to be as long as the Monk trilogy
Amazing.
episode, which was an hour and a half.
Which was a trilogy.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Anyway,
thank you very much for listening, everyone.
join us next week. Same bat time.
Same bat channel.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.